Hey, what's good, y'all? Sam Wolf here, coming at you with my first real video with a subject. I'm gonna try and keep this one short, just like the rest of my videos, until I can really start perfecting like editing and stuff. I'm still using my phone, so bear with me here. This is all gonna be off top. None of this is written down except for these 9 qualities that I got for divine masculine, and that's really the topic of this entire video. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get with it. The thing that really popped this off was my tweet that says many men go through depression because their fathers and fathers before them hadn't figured out the art of emotion. So, I mean, that's straightforward. Like, men have been taught, and like it's a hypermasculine trait, men have been taught to suppress their emotions. Um, when a man is feeling sad and he doesn't want to cry because typically his father or men around him have told him that it's not okay, you're going to be a woman, you're going to be feminine, or that it's just not the tough thing to do, which is actually quite the opposite. That's actually a coward's way to go about it. Because you're suppressing it and you don't want to deal with it. I think that that's really a big issue that we have with a lot of people. Like this isn't just men, honestly. Everybody has feminine and masculine, qualities. Women have this too. There are plenty of women that have more masculinity than femininity, and vice versa with men. Men have plenty of feminine qualities showing instead of masculine qualities. And hypermasculinity in men, in particular, is extremely toxic and has been going through our community since the beginning of time. I mean, it's just obvious. We see it everywhere. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys these 9 general qualities that I kind of found based on not only experience, but just like a little bit of research here and there. Like I said, this is all off the top. We have logic, reason, action, firmness, survival, loyalty, adventure, rationality, and strength. So all of these things theoretically are the exact same. Um, Honestly, it's just really easy to separate these things into 9 just because you got to have labels every now and then if you want to be understood by other people. And I'm trying to. I'm going by a lot of people on Twitter and YouTube, hopefully. So, I mean, like, I can't really go through each 9 of these things or else we'd be here all day. But the basis of all of this is not to suppress these emotions. You'll find that it's the toughest thing to do to deal with these emotions. Like, men are told not to cry, and I completely disagree with that because everybody has emotions. It's not just women. Women tend to be more in tune with their emotions. That's definitely a natural thing, I think. Like, it definitely comes more natural to women to want to express themselves, um, in terms of how they feel anger, sadness, and all that stuff. Men typically resort to anger because it's frustration. There's a short fuse that men have because they've been literally pushing down everything that they've been going through for most of their life. Like I said, I'm only speaking from experience. I cannot speak for women, so don't think that I'm just like singling women or men out here. Um, this is just based on the people around me, so don't take this the wrong way. But the point is here that hypermasculinity is really taking a toll on all the men, and it's creating a lot of unnecessary issues. A lot of problems that hypermasculinity deals with in particular is the ego. Ego is a very subconscious thing that most people don't even understand, and it's one of those things that even I'm trying to get in tune with. I think most men are. I don't think there's too many men out there that are actually in tune with their ego, because it's very. I almost want to say it's impossible to control because there is no such thing as control. It's more acceptance and going with the flow, but filtering, if that makes sense. It should be very simple to talk about all these things. So, those 9 masculine qualities, survival in particular, is one of those things that men don't understand because, me in particular, I'm just going to use myself as an example. That's the easiest I can do. I learned to survive on my own simply because most of my friends were fake as shit. Um, Obviously, I'm not going to call any names out because that just wouldn't do any good. But I was also fake myself, so I attracted fake. The law of attraction is very real, whether you want to believe it or not. It's not something that you just think about it and all of a sudden shit happens, because that would just be way too easy and we would be way further along in life if that were the case. Um, Law of attraction is more subconscious than it is conscious if you think about it, because your subconscious is ruling all those little things that you do that you may later, like I said before, you may regret later. And regret's one of the worst things you can do because that's a part of suppression. Um, you have to accept things for what they were. You have to live in the moment. You have to give yourself the opportunity to accept it. So don't think just because you can think about something with ease um, that you have already gotten over it, because that's just not the truth. I'm still getting over things that happened to me in 8th grade. I'm not going to lie about that. Um, I'm willing to call myself out for these things simply because I'm completely comfortable and content with myself. Um, I have to use myself as an example. That's the best I know is myself. So don't think that all of this is supposed to be tailored to you. This is tailored to me, and if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm totally welcome and open to all opinions. So like, really, what I want to talk about here is just the fact, because like that tweet is kind of what fired this off. So I just kind of want to talk about that. So men go through emotion. There's one other girl on Twitter was talking about this, how men have been taught that anger is toughness, um, and that depression is weakness. And that's not true, because I think a very good amount of people go through depression whether they believe it or not. And you can't really go by statistics because that's just people that are willing to either admit or people that have been clinically proven to be um, depressed, which not everybody goes to a doctor to be to like get help for depression. So be mindful of that there are people that are definitely depressed that don't understand what depression is, and that don't understand that they are depressed, because it's mental and physical, brain sending things to your body that it can be very physical and less mental than you think. So be mindful of that. These masculine qualities, quite simple. Let me go back to this page. Action. See, this is one thing that I think a lot of men they confuse, because action doesn't just mean doing the first thing on your mind and just kind of reacting on impulse or acting on impulse. Action has to do with the next quality right below that, which is firmness. Action has to do with decision making, as in saying no, just like the strength. So, like I said, those three things tie in together very well. You have to be willing to make, or I should say, you have to be willing to take action in creativity in order to release your emotion. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but if it's not, then I'll tell you right away that men in the very beginning, I know me in particular and my friends that I used to talk to, we all used to be afraid of our creative ability because we're told that creative ability is a feminine aspect, which, yeah, that's true in a way. Women are the creators, but at the same time, men have feminine qualities too. We all have that divine masculine, divine feminine. We need to be able to balance that. The only way to balance that is to be able to express yourself, which is a divine feminine quality. So like, here's the little balancing act that I have written out between masculine and feminine. So with logic comes intuition, and all of these, the second ones that I'm naming all here are these divine feminine qualities. With reason comes nurturing. With action comes healing. With firmness comes gentleness. With survival becomes being expressive. I'll get into that in just a second. Loyalty becomes wiseness. Adventurous and patience. Rationality and emotion. Strength and flexibility. So right off the bat, action and healing, that's the one that when you're taking action to deal with your emotions, that's going to help you accept how you feel. You have to be willing to accept how you feel, because I know a lot of men, hypermasculine men in particular, don't know how to accept how they feel. And that creates a lot of grudges for no fucking reason. You guys really, I say you guys, I have the same qualities too. It's ego is what it is. And you guys, God, I keep saying you guys, everybody is really driven by ego at some point in their life. And if you don't have that quality to you to be healing with yourself, then you can't really heal anybody else. You have to be willing to start with yourself and take action with yourself first. So then the one that I was talking about was survival and expressiveness. So these two, I mean, all of these things reciprocate with each other. But in order to survive, you have to be able to express yourself with strength. I mean, like I said, all of these things are one and the same. Two sides of the same coin, masculine and feminine. You have to be willing to balance these things. I just want everyone to understand that your emotion is not something to run away from. It's something that you need to run towards, and that's what I think people don't understand what shadow work is like shadow work deals with those parts that you don't want to deal with normally. I really encourage everybody to have like a release session at the very minimum once a month. Like I try and do it, I'd say over the last month I've done it probably twice a week, and that's simply just because like I'm still coming around to this divine masculine aspect. Like if somebody says they've perfected either of these things, they're wrong because it's impossible to perfect these things. This is all like a very long journey. Like think of the infinity symbol. Once you hit that crossroads, that's going to be the hardest thing to deal with, the crossroads. Then you start hitting the big circle, and you're like, okay, I'm in the groove. Then you're going to hit another crossroads. It never ends. Don't think that healing ever stops because that's not true. Every single time you come up on an emotion, whether it be anger, sadness, happiness, you need to be able to feel that. I cannot express that enough. Shit, I'm already running out of time, but I just want you guys to understand that emotion is something that you need to run towards because you need to be able to, and I'll say this again, you're not going to control it because it's subconscious. You cannot control the subconscious the way you think you can. Subconscious is one of those things that you're going to have to be able to identify, and when you identify it, then you can start to defeat your own demons, inner demons, everything. I mean, this is all shadow work, so really I want to keep this pretty short. I'm already at 11 minutes. I'm sure I may have missed out on a few things, but I really just wanted to kind of highlight what divine masculine is, and I wanted to tell everybody that emotion is something you need to start running towards. You need to start dealing with yourself, or else you're going to start projecting on everybody else. And projection is one of those things that gets everybody in trouble with their ego because then it starts becoming like a dick measuring contest. And I'm sure enough men have understood what I mean by that because I obviously don't mean that literal. I hope you haven't done that. But my point is like, don't start measuring your successes just simply by physical results because physical results make you start externalizing happiness. Don't externalize happiness because then you're going to keep buying things, and that's material goods. You're not going to need material goods to be happy. You're going to need yourself to be happy. So, that's really all I got for you guys. I wanted to record this really quick just because I know people are starting to like flood in on my stuff, and I need to take advantage of that. I hope you understand. So it's all peace, it's all love. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sam Wolf here again. I'll put my link in the description for my Twitter, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Much love.